Hi, great people of the world. It's time for another edition of your program, Dissecting Africa. It's a program that x-rays everything positive about the continent, Africa. I am Kazim Balogun. As usual, in this episode, we have a topic with which we are going to engage you. And this time around, we want to look at someone from the continent of Africa, in the person of the enigma, the iconic Professor Wole Soyinka, as he turned 86 yesterday. And we're looking at the topic, Professor Wole Soyinka at 86, African gift to the world. This is what I will be discussing with you. I know so many people all over the world know Professor Wole Soyinka. He's a gift from Africa to the rest of the world. And this is what I want us to look at today. It's important for me to dedicate today's edition of the program to him. He's a grandpa. He's a great grandpa. At 86, but he happens to be a lovely person. I've met him several times, and come to think of it, I'm so proud. I'm so proud that we came from the same town in Abeokuta. So it's not out of place for me to dedicate this edition of the program to him. And come to think of it, what we are looking at is to celebrate these icons, these legends, someone that has contributed immensely to the emancipation of humanity. So it's important for us to celebrate them when they're still alive. And this is what I'm doing. I know a lot of activities have been lined up for him by his associates, and I'm sure throughout this week, the program by very important personality as well, Mr. German Anikulapo, the program that he puts together with some of professors associates. I think it's ongoing, and a lot of discussion because Baba is in the literary world, and everybody knows about him. So I'll be going through his achievements. But if anybody has any comments to add, we can bring that in. So we are looking at this topic, like I said, Professor Wole Soyinka at 86, African gift to the world. How do you see him to be a gift to the world? It depends on what you are looking at. So let me just do a quick rundown on his background. I know that I cannot do real justice to this, but I just want to try my best, and I thought of honing this because I felt it's one of the things that I can do, for him, as someone who has transversed the world and coming from, Africa. So, and because the program is all about everything positive about Africa, so that is why I thought there is need for us to discuss Professor Wole Soyinka at 86. Yesterday was his birthday, so let me quickly seize this opportunity to say happy birthday, sir. Many happy returns. We still want you around. We want to see more of you. We appreciate you, and I think while you're still alive, you can see that a whole lot of people appreciate you. And we want to see more of these. We want to see more of your engagement, more of your contributions to the development of humanity, which you've been doing. So I'm going to go through his background and some of his achievements. Like I said, there are so many people that can really do justice to these. At this time around, many of them are quite busy, engaged with one activity or the other, like the Mr. Gemini Nicolapo and some other people. They've been organizing events, like the So many of them, they are busy as I speak to you. So I thought, okay, let me just see what I can do, dedicating this edition of the program to him. So let me just go through what I've put down, about him. And like I said, if there is any comments, just let me know, then I can respond to it, as quick as possible, so that we can say that, okay, together we are doing this, because I'm interactive one. So this is what I am looking at. So let me find a way to kickstart the program in earnest by ensuring that I do all the necessary things. I'm trying to look at the possibility of having it shared on some of the social media that I have around, and probably someone can get to see it from there, and probably share as well, because the essence of what we do is for us to share, and let the message go far and wide, so that people can know that definitely something good is going on about Professor Wole Soyinka. Now let me read out from what I've jotted down. His background. uh, Professor Wole Soyinka's real names, I want to bring that to you, for those of you that don't really know. He goes by Akinwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka, but he's simply known as Wole Soyinka. So most of us, we know him as Professor Wole Soyinka, but his full names, you know, is what I've read out: Akinwande Oluwole Babatunde Soyinka. He is a playwright. He's a poet. He's an essayist. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986, and this is why we call him as the African gift to the world. He is the first sub-Saharan African to be honored in that category, to have won the Nobel Prize. He's the first person. Some other Africans have really won it, but he's the first person in the sub-Saharan Africa to have won that. So it's a great thing for us. He was born into a family, or Yoruba family in Abeokuta. Like I said that the other time, I'm proud to be an indigene of Abeokuta as well. That's where I came from as well. So he's my father. We are within the same community. So that's Abeokuta is in Ogun State, southwestern Nigeria. And for those of you that don't know, it's not far from Lagos. It's just like an hour or 1.5 hours drive from Lagos. So, like I told you, Professor Wole Soyinka clocked 86 years yesterday. That's a great feat. He's been around for quite a while. So, and attaining that age, let me say happy birthday to you again. So, um, he has been, so many people know him in the literary world, in the academia, and he has been like that, and part of the celebration that I told you, many people have been doing a whole lot of activities in his name, to celebrate him. So, sorry for the break in transmission. I'm back, and it's one of the issues that I experienced. Okay, let me continue with the. Now, I want to look at his educational background. He attended Government College Ibadan and University College, also in Ibadan. Then he progressed to University of Leeds in England. So after that, he worked uh, with the Royal Theatre in London. Then he played active role in the political history of Nigeria. Also part of the he was also part of the agitators for independence for Nigeria, and importantly, for the emancipation of Africa from the colonialists. This is one of the reasons why he is a gift to the world. Coming from Africa, he played an important role during our political struggle. When Nigeria was under the colonial rule, and he played that role to the extent that at a point, he was imprisoned. Owing to the fact that he thought certain things needed to be corrected at that time. Moving on, yeah. One of the things that he did was he was arrested in 1967, for seizing the Western Nigeria Broadcasting Service studio and broadcasting a demand for the cancellation of the Western Nigeria election. During that time, the election was kind of rigged, and he felt what he needed to do was to get to the broadcasting service. Then in 1967, the story, everybody knows the story. He entered there. He seized the situation, and he was able to broadcast to the nation about the need for such an election to be cancelled. There is so much story, behind that. He has explained several times to the people what led to that and how he was able to achieve that. So, moving on, he was kept in solitary confinement for 2 years, in prison for 2 years by the then military government, headed by General Yakubu Gawan. So he was imprisoned during the military regime, for such action, but he was trying to correct what he thought was not a great thing to do at that period in time. So moving on, and he has been very, very critical in his writings, about oppressive governments, all over the world. You know, Even up to the era of military period in Nigeria, he was against anything military within Nigeria, within Africa. Even any dictatorial government, he was so critical of them. And he lent his voice, and he's still doing that. Up to this moment, he doesn't want anything negative to tarnish the image of Africa. He believes in democratic governance, and he believes in good leadership, and that is what he has been doing all this while. So, moving on, he was made a professor emeritus in 1999 in comparative literature, and he has taught in Cornell University as Goldwin Smith Professor of African Studies and Theater Arts from 1986 to 1991. So, and moving on, he has been well celebrated globally by institutions of higher learning and among his colleagues. So that's a great one from our dear professor. Let's now look at some of his honors. In 1973, he received the honorary doctorate degree from the University of Leeds, that is in England. In 1973-74, he received overseas fellow at the Churchill College in Cambridge, in England as well. And in 1983, he was selected as an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. And in 1983, in Anfield, Wolf Book awarded him Wolf Book in Anfield. He was awarded Wolf Book Award in the United States of America. And in 1986, this is what really drew the attention of so many people. So in 1986, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And like I mentioned the other time, the first person to receive that in the sub-Saharan Africa. And that is why it's a gift to the world. And moving on, in 2005, our town in Abeokuta, which is the capital of Ogun State, Western Nigeria, it was given a chieftaincy title by the Alake of Egba land, the paramount ruler of Abeokuta, in the person of Oba Dikpede, the Alake of Egba land, of a blessed memory. He was given the title of Akinlatun or Akinlatun of Egbaland. It's a revered chieftaincy title. Then in 2009, he won the Golden Plate Award of the American Academy of Achievements. So in 2009, in 2017, he joined the University of Johannesburg, South Africa, as a distinguished visiting professor. So he's still moving forward in his academic pursuit. And then in 2017, he also received a special prize of the European Theatre Prize. And these are the things that made him to be a gift to the world. If you will agree with me, Then in 2018, a Nigerian university of his own alma mater, University of Ibadan, renamed its art theater to Wole Soyinka Theater. So that's a good one coming from that department. Also, in 2018, he received her honorary doctorate degree of letters from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, his hometown, as well. And that's a great one. And let's look at some of his works. Yeah. Let's look at the plays. The first play that we have as part of his work is Kefi's Birthday. That was done in 1954. The Invention was done in 1957. The Swamp Dwellers in 1958. Equality Violence in 1959. The Lion and the Jewel in 1959 as well. The Trial of Brother Jero in 1961. A Dance of the Forest in 1969. Then My Father's Burden in 1960. And another one is The Story Breed, the Strong Breed in 1964. And also in 1964, before the blackout. Then let's look at some of the novels that he wrote. He wrote so many novels. He wrote so many plays, but I just want to mention a few of them because of time factor here. Then one of the novels that he wrote is The Interpreters, that was written in 1964. Then Season of Anatomy in 1972. Then let's look at some of his memoirs. The Man Died. Those are the prison notes in 1972. Then another memoir of his is Ake, the Year of Childhood in 1981. These are just few of his numerous novels and memoirs. Then let's look at his poetry collections. The first one we are looking at is Telephone Conversation in 1963, Mandela's Hearth and Other Poems in 1988, and those are just few that I want to mention. They're too numerous, like I said. Then let's look at some of his essays. Towards the first one is Towards a True Theater in 1962. Then Culture in Transition, that was written in 1963. Then From Drama and the African Worldview, 1976. So these are some of his poetry collections. They are so numerous, so many that I can really exhaust the list here. So I'm just picking one or two from his works, and let's look at some of his movies as well. The first one I'm looking at is Kongi Affairs. Many of us got to know that it goes by that name, Kongi. And just to chip in these as well, a building, a beautiful edifice was named after him in Freedom Park, Lagos. So for those of you that don't know, the Freedom Park used to be the prison yard, which was where he was one of the inmates, alongside some of the Nigerian leaders of the past, who fought for our independence. So some of them were imprisoned in that prison. So the place has now been turned to a kind of park. So it's called Freedom Park, and it's in Lagos. So this beautiful edifice was named after him, and this is the name that was given to that particular building. Kongi Affairs. Very beautiful place. So moving forward, another movie he did is Culture in Transition and Blues for a Prodigal. Like I told you, these are just few. I just decided to mention few of his works here because of time factor. And let's look at some of the books some of the works that he translated. So the first one is The Forest of a Thousand Demons. It's a hunter's saga, and this was done in 1968. It's a translation of D.O. Fagunwa's Ogbojuode Inu Igbo Irumole. These are some of the things that earned him, the respect all over the world. Some of us get to know that at a point in his life, he translated this work to a very beautiful English language. Some of the things that he used in those words are now in some of these word dictionaries. Yes, like he used some terms that were not they were strange to the Europeans and the Americans, and because he has the poetic license, so some of the words that he translated from Yoruba language, because the work that he translated by from Dr. D.O. Fagunwa Ogbojuode Ninu Igbo Urumole was originally a Yoruba work. So he was able to translate the work from Yoruba to English, and he was able to come up with some strange words, from Yoruba dialect. It changed them to English, and those words can now be found in some of the award dictionaries. So for those people that can find out, they need to read this book and some of his other works. So so far so good. We've been able to say so much about Professor Wole Soyinka. I'm sure you get to know so much about him, And like I said, it's just for me to dedicate this edition of the program to him, based on the fact that he happened to be one of the beautiful stories, coming from the continent of Africa. And I am looking forward to, many of you, seeing and reading about his book. Many of you that have not done anything, concerning him, go and find out, because I know a whole lot of people are doing great things, about him. And what we need to do as a people is to celebrate our icons while they are still alive. This is part of my own contribution to celebrating Professor Wole Soyinka on the edition of Dissecting Africa. And from the look of things, I see him as a gift to the world, and that is what he is. He is a gift to the entire world. Judging by what he has been able to achieve all this while, judging by what he has been able to do all this while, he is a gift to the entire world, and he's a global icon that people must just reckon with. So it's on this note that I would like to draw the curtain on today's edition of Dissecting Africa. I hope I've been able to do justice to this as well. I hope you will join me again next week as I bring another interesting edition of Dissecting Africa to your viewing pleasure. As always, I remain Kazim Balogun. And I also want to implore you, send us comments, like our page, like our programs. Let us know what you feel. Tell us how you want us to do it better, and reach out to us, patronize us. Let us know what we can do together. To better the lot of humanity. And please kindly watch all other programs that we have on this platform. These are platform for us, and we hope that we can change the world for the better. Doing what we know how to do best. So it's on that note that I want to say goodbye for now. I hope to see you with some of other programs that we have. But for Dissecting Africa, join me again next week as I bring to you another fascinating edition of Dissecting Africa, and probably very, very important personality of Africa. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.